Hello everybody, it is Sunday the 8th of October. I've been trying to make videos these last few days and I really cannot get it together. There is just so much that is coming to me that I should say. So I'm trying to make 2 videos today, so watch out for that. There's going to be a second one, hopefully. I want to start with our fundamental understanding again of what is actually going on. And I'm not saying that what I can see, and what I can see is really very much derived on the way of Gnosis. That is to see, I know it out of myself. I know it according to myself, according to a human being. Yeah? And as I said, there's so much I can see now where we're being taught stuff that just does not sit right with the way I know things. And if we need to work a correction, if we need to get out of this delusion, the only light of truth is our own truth. Now, the first thing we need to know, and that is that we are limited. We are not village idiots. It's not that we know nothing, but we are limited. And so is everything else that is created. No part knows it all. Yeah? That is something we need to understand from the beginning. And if you look again at this Eastern teaching, where somebody, again, went out into all, basically by doing away with knowledge of themselves, do away with everything, and with all your personas, everything that you think you are, and go into all. And they reached a point where there is nothing that knows and nothing is being known. Because, there's nothing that knows because you've done away with everything that you think you are. So there's nothing left that can know. And then there's nothing known. And basically, they reach the edge, the very edge of where their consciousness can reach. That's it, there's nothing else. You cannot go any further. So then, what should that actually teach you? Because right now, when you're listening to the lunatics, it means you're going to the outer edge, you're staring at the abyss, so to speak, of not knowing, and they say it's there so that you jump into it. That's the purpose of the abyss. Let's all jump into it. Or in another way, if you look at when people perceive a blinding light, which is another way of perceiving exactly the same thing. You can see it either as darkness, or you can perceive it as a blinding light, and the important word here is blinding. Again, you cannot see what is in there. You no longer know out of yourself what is in that light. And then, become conscious that you have just reached the edge of what you know. And then that should actually lead to wisdom. When you're jumping into it, it's not wisdom. Doing away with fear and any kind of judgment and just jump into it is not wisdom. Wisdom would tell you be cautious. You're going into something that you do not know. Slow down. Or maybe not even go there. So that is what that should teach you. not run there and jump into it. And if you see that, we are we are so limited. So is everything else. There is nothing unlimited that is created. And if you perceive another consciousness, or you go into another consciousness bubble, into another sphere, and into another dimension, whatever you want to call it, they are limited. That is why their world exists, because it is limited, it is a bubble. So, okay, you are limited in what it is you know, so is everything else. Now the next thing is, they are so much greater than us. That's the first perception. Again, you are nothing, they are so much greater than us. They are inside of a light that I cannot perceive. Which is what happens when people, near-death experiences or something, they enter into another bubble that they cannot perceive, fully perceive. They can maybe see some shapes in it. That is really getting out of Plato's cave. Yeah, where you, and in the first instance, you are blinded by the light until the shapes start taking form over a period of time, because you adjust yourself to the new light or to the new energy that is there. Now, if we say, people talk about, now the astrosphere, or whatever they call it now, the demons and angels and whatever that is in there. Those are the spheres, let's say the spheres of consciousness that are closest to us. Closest to us means they are mostly like us. Distance is what Kabbalah calls it, equivalence of form. The more they are like you, the closer you perceive them as being. Same with us. You're closest to something that is like you. So that is basically what that is. But then, if you understand that inside of those spheres there is a God. There's a God that is holding it all together. And that God is an intention. God is an intention. It is a level of intention. And then if in that sphere the intention is, I want to have dominion over everything. Yeah? I want to rule over everything. And that is what rules inside of that sphere. That desire, that intention. And that is what is holding the sphere together. Now, I was thinking about con artists, because that is actually, it is a con. If we did not know what we were doing, if we did not fully understand how creation works, I'm not saying the way I'm saying is how creation works, it just gives you a different perspective. That's a different possibility. Yeah? And if we constantly work on the same assumption, we will constantly create the same outcome. So let's change our assumptions of how this actually works. And again, it's coming out of the experience of this world, out of our knowledge. It's not that we know nothing. We have experience of life, of an existence, and that gives you a knowledge, and that knowledge is your Gnosis. So conman, what conman does is, it gets knowledge of, they gather knowledge of you, like rummaging through your bins or whatever it is they do. Yeah? To get letters and stuff, to get knowledge of you. So they can con you. They sound like they know something about you. Like they have an insight. Well, they have an insight. Anyway, so if you were to enter a sphere, and you were blinded by the difference of energy, you can't fully make out what is in there, because it's unfamiliar to you. Yeah? So one of our twats entered into one of those spheres and then said, wow, you know, this is the light, and there's no more form, or there's very little form. Wow. And then those inside the sphere looked at that and said, wow, that little twat thinks we have no form. That's interesting. I'm wondering what we can do with that. And if you had the intention of, I want to have dominion, there's definitely something you can do with that. You know, you can use the perception of the other, of you, to deceive them. I heard it just recently again, I hear it over and over again, there are these other levels of consciousness, and either they have never taken form, or, you know, maybe they have sometimes taken form and they are now in no form. How do we know that? First of all, out of our own perception, obviously, of those that went and couldn't make out what was inside that sphere. And then we have the those in the sphere confirming that perception. Yes, that is right. We have no form. So is there somebody going into the sphere and then having a misconception of what is going on in there, and then being confirmed in their belief? Why? Because it served that which was in the intention that was in the sphere. It serves them that you cannot fully see them, that you cannot fully see their intention, that you cannot, that you have a misconception about what they are. It serves them. So you're being confirmed in your ignorance. Is that what happened? I'm not saying that is what happened, but consider it. That is another explanation of what may have happened there. That you or somebody who went into that sphere could not perceive, because it was out of the realm of their own gnosis, of their own knowing. That they were confirmed in that ignorance because it served that which was inside that sphere. And they, of course, the human or whatever, came back and gave the knowledge, and they are so much greater, and they are beings of light, and we should do according to what they tell us to do. And never mind your own knowing. Forget about that. You're an idiot. That's the way to be ruled over. And that is the way to be ruled over. First of all, you do not acknowledge. Well, yes, you do acknowledge your own limitations, but you just think that everything else is greater than you, instead of thinking it's different. That the light of that you do not know does not mean, again, shift of meaning. It does not mean it's greater, it means it's different. And then it could be anything. So, I mean, if we go shift our perception of the meaning of what we're seeing, that would lead us on a different path. And I think we should do that, because we've been on that there's a fundamental understanding. Yeah? God is in that sphere, He's so much greater. We are nothing. We need to be ruled over. We must not go by our own understanding. And if you see the God of the Bible and what He does, according to human understanding, a lot of it is not good. Again, don't go by your own knowing. Just go and follow the way. And that is what I want to talk about in the next video, again, something thinking about our energies and the way of God and the way of man. And it is really the use of knowledge. According to what? Again, it is according to an intention that you use the knowledge. And that good and bad is not in the knowledge itself, but in the way that you use it. Again, you use the knowledge the way of a con man. You're living in a world of con men. You're being conned all around. And is that not the place where we think we are right now? We are being lied to left, right, and center. We're being influenced in a way that is not according to our truth. There is the root. And it, as I said, it comes from a very first fundamental misunderstanding of what it is they were looking at. Anyway, I leave this video for now, and now I want to talk about the other thing, the ways. I mean, there is God. There is God, God, the intention that rules inside of a sphere. And I want to talk about the ways next, and to see how we are fundamentally different as a human being from those that are in that sphere, in the way that we use our knowledge. And that we should go by our own truth. And that's the only way we can bring this world into peace and into oneness. Into a form of oneness. It's not that we're all the same. Anyway, I speak about that in the next video. And I see you then. Bye.